It's Wednesday morning. That means it's time for our Ask the Doc segment from our good friends from All Creatures Veterinary Center located on Lyons Avenue. It's a 24/7 clinic. So when your pet, little Schmooky or little Fluffy or little Mittens, gets sick at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's someone there that can help them out. Today, filling in, usually we have Dr. Merriweather, we have Dr. Stone. Welcome to KHTS.
Hi.
Yeah, yes. So this is pretty simple. We're going to talk about dogs and cats. Last week I adopted another beagle. I have 3 of them now.
Oh, okay.
And so I have 2 males and a female. And usually they get along. Mm-hmm. And they're all adults, and she's between 5 and 10. We took her to Dr. V because also when you adopt a pet from the Castaic Animal Shelter, at least a dog and cat, you can take them to All Creatures for a free checkup. So we took advantage of that, and Dr. V said she was probably closer to 10 years old, although she's kind of rascally. I'm not sure. She has a lot of energy if she's 10 years old because she still gets into things. But there are territory issues sometimes that usually get along. One dog, Otis, that especially if it's around my wife, tends to all of a sudden, like last night, he attacked her and actually bit her ear. And usually he's just kind of knocked her over, but he got a little bit more vicious last night. Is there something that we could possibly do aside from just keeping them apart? Is there any type of training tips, or is anything we need to consider in trying to rectify that issue?
Yeah, there's definitely things you can do. I'd probably suggest taking them to an actual trainer together. That way, a lot of the trainers are actually behavioralists, so they can monitor their behavior. They can figure out, what is setting them off as far as why the other one is upset. It probably is a territorial issue, if it's kind of like your dog you've already had is jealous because the new dog is, trying to get attention from your wife. That's definitely a possibility.
Is that part of the hierarchy thing? Because they don't do that with me. And this morning, as a matter of fact, they were laying next to each other on the love seat like nothing was going on. So it's not always.
Oh, okay.
So could it be a hierarchical thing? Maybe they think I'm the alpha and he's treating her more as like a territory thing?
It certainly could be. Yeah. If he feels like, you're the boss, but he kind of owns your wife maybe.
Right. Okay. So it's just something, there's a lot of adjustments that have been made, fortunately, that for the most part they get on. It's just like, I guess last night I wasn't home and all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I come home, I said, where's the other dog? Oh, he's in the bedroom on a timeout. So that's one thing, but especially in adoptions, just making sure, what's the best thing to do if someone is bringing a new pet into a home with other pets?
As far as having them get along, things like that.
Is it the way you introduce them? Just is it a slow introduction, or is there a certain place?
I think it's always best to kind of introduce them out of the home. So even if you, some shelters and rescue agencies will actually allow you to bring your dog and then have them kind of meet on
the play date.
Yeah, just to kind of see how they interact, see if they will get along, because once you adopt a dog and bring it home, you never know what's going to happen, and then you're kind of stuck, So I think that would be, a good call, is to try to introduce them outside of your home first to kind of see if they'll get along. However, a lot of times I always usually tell people when they do adopt a dog from the shelter to try to keep the dog separate for a little while, just in case they are carrying anything. So a lot of times they will be carrying kennel cough, things like that.
And that's true.
From the shelter.
And that's one thing that All Creatures had noticed about Daisy, who we brought home, and that she had a little bit. So a little antibiotics cleared that right up.
Oh, good.
Fortunately, before the other dogs had caught it. So she's all good to go. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more with Dr. Stone on Ask the Doc. All Creatures Veterinary Center is a 24/7 veterinary clinic and hospital on Lyons Avenue. They're between Newhall and Main Street in the old Victorian building. So we'll be right back after this.
Who says nothing good happens after midnight? Denny's is best known for their breakfast served round the clock, like the Grand Slam. But you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner in a casual atmosphere 24/7. At Denny's, the lunch and dinner menu has a variety of appetizers, craveable burgers, salads, and entrees, along with the best desserts in town. Wherever you live in Santa Clarita, there's a Denny's close by. If you're pulling an all-nighter or don't feel like cooking, get into Denny's today. Good stuff is happening at Denny's.
There's only 6 booths remaining for the KHTS 5th Annual Home and Garden Show and Emergency Expo, March 29th and 30th at the Valencia Hyatt. Join over 250 local vendors who know the power of speaking with thousands of Santa Clarita homeowners. Admission is free. Everything for your home and garden as we combine 2 expos in one. The KHTS Home and Garden Show and Emergency Expo, and just added a special crafts fair. Log on to scvhomeandgarden.com or call KHTS at 298-1220.
Beep, beep. Beep, beep.
8:48, time for another quick traffic update on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm George Cummings. What we're seeing, it looks like a clearing traffic collision 118 westbound at Havenhurst is now moved out of the way. Things are moving much better in that direction. 5 freeway southbound in the Sunland area, we do have a hit and run with no injuries at Sunland Boulevard. Vehicles on the right shoulder. Otherwise, just slow and go elsewhere in your San Fernando Valley southbound commutes all the way through the West LA area on the 405 and North Hollywood through the Universal Studios area on the 170 and the 101. Very slow all the way through La La Land. Love your traffic tips. 298 KHTS 298-5487.
Test drive the stylish 2014 Acura ILX today. Luxury, highly recommended. Visit your Southern California Acura dealer or learn more at SoCalAcuraDealers.com.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a
And we are back by Ask the Doc segment, All Creatures Veterinary Center. Don't forget Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital, located on Soledad Canyon next to Regal Cinemas. And that is where you will find Dr. Stone, who is our guest today on our Ask the Doc segment. So you're on your way to work then, right?
Yeah.
Anything exciting going on in the last week or so? It's not quite rattlesnake season yet, is it?
You know, I know all creatures have seen one rattlesnake bite so far, so usually it comes a little later in the year, but, you know, once it starts getting warmer,
it's
we
been a
start
little bit
seeing
drier, this year, so
Yeah.
we haven't had as much. We saw the leaves sprouting earlier. So in anticipation of the upcoming rattlesnake season, when we talk about vaccinations there's a preventive type medicine. That does not stop a rattlesnake bite from happening or prevent if your dog gets bitten just because you have the vaccine. And it doesn't prevent you from still having to take your pet in if it's been bitten by a rattlesnake, right?
Right. Yeah, the rattlesnake vaccine is just basically it's in hopes of building the immune system a little bit towards the bite. So if they do get bitten, they have a little higher likelihood of surviving, but they do still need to be rushed straight to the veterinary center and treated right away, of course.
It just buys you more time, especially if you're like at the top of Towsley Canyon or out there in Placerita
Yeah.
somewhere. It just buys you a little more time to get them to the vet so that they could still be checked out.
Yeah. You definitely have to rush them there as soon as possible, but hopefully if they have the vaccine, they'll have a higher chance of surviving it.
We had talked, when you walk your dogs and you find other people, you start talking about the pets. We don't know anybody on the paseos when we're walking our dogs by their actual names. We just know that's Buster's parents.
Yeah.
And talking with someone who said that she had one dog. He's like 12 years old now, but a few years ago bitten by a rattlesnake, and fortunately survived, but didn't even realize that he had been bitten until they take him to the vet, and even the vet was a little perplexed at first. So what signs are we looking for? Because sometimes it happens so fast, or you don't realize if they're on the trail that they've even been bitten, or if they've been out on their own. What signs are we looking for?
Usually you'll see swelling, and a lot of times we see it on the face or even sometimes the front legs. That's where we see the bite happen most often. But usually there's swelling associated with it of some sort. 2 little puncture wounds that may be bleeding. But of course, some dogs are affected more than others. A small dog gets affected a lot more than a larger dog. And also it depends on the size of the snake that actually bites the dog too. Surprisingly, the baby snakes are actually more potent than the larger snakes because when they bite, they give all their venom. So those are actually worse than a larger snake.
Right. And then the more serious symptoms include what? Like, I'll be talking about salivating or...
Yeah, so the first thing you'll start to see is swelling of the bite region. You can see anything from, difficulty breathing, them collapsing, seizuring, things like that, but hopefully an owner will see the swelling first and then rush them in right away.
Right in and get them in there to the emergency, or at least call the vet ahead and let her know, hey, so that they can clear room.
Yeah,
And that's always a good thing to do, right?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a good thing when people warn us, because then we're ready. We have everything set up by the time they get there, and we could treat them faster.
And hopefully they can have a full recovery, but sometimes, like in this case, what this owner said, that her dog had a little bit of nerve damage just on the leg where it was bitten. Now, is that kind of a common thing, or is that maybe?
Yeah. Sometimes they will have, signs that just stick with them. I had a dog recently come in. She told me that the dog's been incontinent, urinary incontinence, ever since it got bit by a rattlesnake a few years ago. So, yeah, you can definitely have some nerve issues that are associated with it.
Well, that is in anticipation of the upcoming rattlesnake season. Also, don't forget, when you're taking your dogs out, or especially camping or anything like that, to be very careful of other injuries. They're not always gauging properly if they're jumping up on rocks or doing something like that, correct? So it's always
Correct.
good.
Yeah.
And just be careful and watch for those signs of limping or other things. Well, this has been fascinating. You're a great fill-in guest. The first time we
Thank
just
you.
rushed you right in, and you jumped right in. Dr. Stone, thank you so much for helping us out. You're from Canyon Country Veterinary Center, or Veterinary Hospital on Soledad, which is next to Regal Cinemas. They're also associated with the All Creatures Veterinary Center, which is a 24/7 operation. Now, the Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital is kind of more normal vet hours. You have some evening hours, but it's not a 24/7 hour operation, right?
Yeah, we're open 9 to 7.
But and then
Monday through
when you're on this side of town, though, especially living in Canyon Country, it's a great place to go. It's very easy to get to. Thank you so much again, Dr. Stone. We really appreciate
Thank
your
you.
insights. Time is 8:54. We'll be back with more after this.